Yo, yo, yo! We live, Shield Ministry. Man, look, I'm in the ACL. I'll see you, Lim. I'm in the ACL with my boy Bishop. You see him. And my boy Ron, he over here to the cut. But we gonna do this show live, right from the ATL. Right. This man Bishop, man, I'm telling you, this boy got a nice setup, G. So, anyways, look, we gonna go live, and so the subject today is about Trump, right? I ain't gonna get into a lot of political debate and back and forth, right? That's not the objective. The objective is to talk about what you just saw. We saw my man get shot, so they say. So what we're trying to do is talk about the specifics of him getting shot. We all here together. We got your boy Lim, we got Ron, we got Bishop, and we want to hear y'all intake or input on what y'all think about this man capping. That's what I'm gonna just call it what it is. I'm gonna call it a cap. When they say it's a cap, I'm gonna call it a cap. So I see that it was a cap, right? So I'm watching the thing. Let me just tell you where I was, since everybody's talking about where they were, right? So I was on a plane, actually. I was on a plane, and I was, you know how on a plane they give you free Wi-Fi. So I'm watching the joint live TV, and I say, "What? Trump got shot." So I'm looking at the video, and I watched it 3, 4 times, and I was like, "Man, hold on, I ain't the smartest man in the world." But Lim, didn't they say my man got shot by an AK? And I just saw an AK. I went to the gun range today, and I saw an AK, and I saw the bullets on the AK 47. And ain't nowhere in the world that that bullet can skip past you and just graze your ear. It don't even sound right. Then I saw another video of them looking at the shooter before he even shot the first shot. And I was like they saw him and they didn't stop. Like, ain't no, and let me just tell you how ironic this thing is, man. I was watching the movie Sniper on the plane. So I saw real snipers. I'm just telling you how much of a coincidence you want to say it was. I was watching that actual movie Sniper and how serious they take being a sniper, right? So I'm looking like ain't no way in the world that they tried to shoot him and didn't shoot. And I saw one more video that they cleared everybody out the section. Get out, get out, get away. So they had an open fire to my man if they wanted to hit him. So what I really want to do is open up the session. I see he made this say itself King Lemmy. So it went from Lemmy to King Lemmy. So and
Hey, I gotta
then
own the name. I gotta own the name. So
so
you know
King
what? I'm gonna agree with you, Los. I'm just gonna say this. I've watched some interviews with some ex military snipers, guys that's what they did for a living. That they were trained to be on those roofs like that, and most of them were saying at that distance they could have hit Trump with their eyes closed. Now they're saying the guy, the kid, 20-year-old kid, was a bad shot, but I would say at that. There's no way an AK-47 would not have taken it, at least taken his ear off, if half his head off. So I don't know if he was really aiming at Trump in that way. And some people believe it was all prop, even though you can do the fake blood like the actors do. They even believe that. But here's what we do know, at least what they're saying. They're confirming that someone did die. There was a man who was a firefighter, I believe, who covered up his family and he got killed. It was a fatal shot to him. Now, that's still not to say that it could have been staged. But here's what we do know. Whether you believe it was staged or not, we know Trump benefited from all of that. Everything that happened in that setting, I hate to say it, it only propelled his campaign. And how do we know this? Because before he left the stage, he moved the secret force out to pump his fists like he was at some fucking fight. I'm okay. America, America. That made it look real fucking cheesy. That look real shady right there. Cause trust me, brother, if you got your head damn near taken out, you ain't gonna be pumping no fist. You gonna be trying to like, hey, get me up out of here, right? So that part looked kind of shady. I ain't gonna lie.
let me say this, Lim, and I appreciate your input, right? And so I'm gonna hear from Rome next, right? But so let's get this straight, right? No, for real. Because I'm trying to understand. Because see, later on in the month, what I want to do is showcase, and for all my listeners, I got a lot of guys. Seeing as though I'm from Chicago, I got a lot of guys and cousins that actually been shot and almost died, right? And so to me, I want them to be able to get on and tell their story. So when you see something like this, is that your first reaction when you get shot? Like for real, like when you get shot, you want to raise the roof, and like you want to raise the roof so you can get more votes. And I no, for real, I don't really think. Matter of fact, I think it's really utterly disrespectful. If you ask me, they might ask me, but I just think that's really disrespectful to get on to try to make it seem like it was an assassination attempt, and then now we want to put you in history books for the wrong reasons. I think that's utterly ridiculous. So further, I'm gonna let Rome, and then I'm gonna let Bishop talk, and then we're gonna roll back around, and I'm gonna I'm gonna shake the boat so we can talk about something different, right? But I just think it's really, really fair that we talk about this whole Trump thing and what do we really, really think. Come on, Ron, what you think?
What's up, good people? I just want to say, when you have an election coming up like we have, and all of the things that's going on in the world right now, we already divided. And so when you have events like this, it does bring up speculation. It does bring up doubts. It does bring up all of these things. And why are we here? Because of January 6th. Everybody remembers that date when they stormed the Capitol Hill. And let's be honest, he had every opportunity to prevent the people from being at a level 100 and bringing them down to a level 5. And he chose not to say much. And so it got out of hand. And it could have really went left, and we had more lives taken away during that time. So let's fast forward to now. We lose a fireman in all of this. And I just want to send a shout out to his family because they lost a father, they lost a husband. People lost a loved one. So we want to be sensitive in that area and say our condolences to them because that wasn't staged. Somebody's life was taken and everything. So even if he did decide to pull off some type of thing, one thing that wasn't fake was the young man's life that was taken. And so we want to be, sensitive to that area. And we also got to bring up the fact that people seeing the young man on the roof ahead of time and was pointing to him like, hey, allegedly they were blowing it off. We don't know because we wasn't there, but they were saying that they were blowing it off. They really didn't take it serious. And so you fast forward and you see what happened. Innocent life is lost. And then, of course, the killer was taken out as they normally would do so. So that's my take on it. I'll let young Bishop come in and give his piece.
I just want to state some things that a lot of people don't know that for some reason they're keeping out of the news. Well, some of the stuff they're keeping in the news. For one thing, the shooter was a registered Republican. I think everybody knows that. They're not pushing that issue. Another issue they pushed is that he gave, I think, a $15 donation to a progressive group that is known to give to Democratic candidates. So, of course, Fox News is trying to push that part hard. But the biggest fact that I know most people don't know is the T-shirt he was wearing actually was a T-shirt from a conservative right-wing group. I don't know if it's a gun club or something like that, or some kind of anti-terrorist group or whatever. But for some reason, I haven't seen that in the news. I've seen it on one website, but they went in depth. I wouldn't have mentioned it, but they went in depth to show the shirt, where you can buy the shirt, to match the shirt that was the actual shirt he was wearing. But for some reason, in what they call the mainstream media, that fact hasn't been really sent out. So a lot of Republicans, I had a friend on Facebook today talking about the Democrats are doing violence and shooting Trump. And I don't know where he said this is the Democrats, but this is definitely Republican on Republican crime, and they're trying to make it seem like everybody's out here promoting violence. But as we know, it's really only one side that really promotes violence. From what I hear, I never heard of the Democrats or liberals really promoting any violence or anything. So it's crazy to me how this is Democrats versus the Republicans. It actually seems to be the Republicans versus the Republicans. So I don't know. What do you say, Los?
Well, I mean, look, all I'm saying, all I'm saying is I don't believe it. That's all I'm saying. So the bottom line is Trump supposedly got shot, right? And they watched this go down. Okay, let's just be fair. Listen, I'm talking to you and our audience. Hear me out. Let's speak, me and you, logically. This is 2024. You mean to tell me the Secret Service is around and everything is going on, and you're telling me that we sat out here idle and watched the former president get shot, and then we killed my man in real time? We saw him, but we let him get a free shot. Because, okay, so if that's the case for them, I'm just saying, if that's the real case, what are we going to do if it's a real war? We going to sit idle and let him shoot one of our presidents in front of us and not do anything? That's what we're going to do now? We're going to just sit back idle and watch him, and then come out the very next day with a maxi pad, the bandage on his on his ear to say, oh my God, got shot. So what I'm saying to you, Will, with all due fairness, I'm just saying, listen, I ain't even talking about politics. I'm not talking about Project 25. I'm not talking about his dad was in the KKK. I'm not talking about all the stuff Donald Trump and Donald Sterling did in Epstein Island. We ain't talking about none of that, right? No, listen, we're not talking about none of that. I'm just asking you the pure, okay, Lim, you know what? Let me dig in my bag. I'm going to go even further than that. I'm a marketing major. So discount me for whatever you want to, right? Discount Los. I'm a marketing major. I studied marketing and advertising. I double majored in college. And what I'm trying to explain to you is this is an amazing publicity stunt to be able to push your agenda. Now, I'm not saying he's doing this, right? Because I don't know for a fact. But I'm just saying, if in fact, I already came out with shoes to show the Black America that I can relate to y'all because of my criminal charges, right? And then I started thinking about all of the, no, listen. Then I started thinking about what would really make me identify with the hip hop culture is to be shot. And if I can showcase an agenda where I can fall and act like, and y'all can give me some props, and I can fall and act like and do the pump, fight for your life, and I can do that, don't you think this would raise my agenda? Because Quasi's kept Bishop, wrong, Lim. Listen to me. Look at me in my eye. That man sold so many shoes this past 2 days that he never sold before. On the fact that he got shot, supposedly. That's why I put that "Who Shot You" in the background with the actual flyer. Because I want you to be able to conceptualize the marketing stigma in this, right? I really want to address this because it's so sad. My dad is 87 years old, right? And my dad watched the news religiously. So does my mother-in-law, right? But what I'm saying to you is they kind of believe a lot of stuff on the news. And when you no, it's not funny because when you say he is the next president was a attempted assassination, and you compare that to Martin Luther King and John F. Kennedy and the people that really was assassinated, this is blasphemy, to say the
No, it
least.
is. It is.
Go ahead.
Now listen. So no, here's the thing, Los. I think Bishop touched on this. Is that when you're in politics, the politicians and their constituency and the people who vote for them or the people who work for them, let's just say, they don't think very highly of the American people. And the reason why I say that is of their intellect, because they believe that we believe anything. There's been so, and then besides this situation, which is just one situation, but there's been so many incidents throughout history where they've manipulated the American people's minds. And you are right. Our parents and our grandparents believed everything that came out of the major news outlets. Anything that was on news. Did you see such and such? Ooh, and and let me tell you why that's important. Because if you ever watch a Fox News broadcast, it's always the world is about to end, crime is at the highest, they stealing from over here, it's homeless people robbing you. They make it seem like we live in the worst country in the world, right? And a lot of that is fear mongering, but they know their base. Here's what I give them credit for. As you talk about marketing, the Republican Party knows who they're marketing to. They're marketing to people who already want to receive that spirit of the world is about to end. Folks is robbing over here, even though they don't live in those neighborhoods. It's homeless everywhere. The government has just lost their mind. We sick of the LBGQ community. We sick of we going to go into this, talking about kids want to change their gender identity. So all of this is magnified and they are talking to their people. And their people want to hear it, and their people believe whether it is, and this is the most blasphemous part about it, Los. They believe Donald Trump has all the answers to everything going on in America. He gonna fix it all. And when he does that, he gonna walk off into the sunset, bless their heart. And that's just not how the world works. And I'm gonna say this now, and I'll rest my plane here. I think Rome brought this up that when Dr. King was marching in the civil rights movement, not all black folks got down with Dr. King. There were black folks and Malcolm X, but there were black folks specifically who had a gripe with Dr. King because they wanted him to just leave everything as it is. Don't rock the boat. Leave them good white Christian folks alone. Stop ruffling their feathers. You gonna make things worse on us, right? So we got to remember that was the reality. Every day today they make it seem like everybody was with Dr. King. All the black folks was with him. All the white folks, and it wasn't like that. He had a lot of problems with the NAACP, who wasn't rocking with him, who was fighting him on everything. Don't do the boycott. Don't do that. You ain't got to say it like this. I say all that to say this. In America, whether it's black folks, white folks, you can't get all people to agree on everything. And so I don't play the political game. I know it's all bullshit on both sides, just being honest. And it's a lot of manipulation that happens. Most of the time from the Democratic Party, they make promises to black folks and they don't make good on them. Barack Obama, bless his heart, was in office 8 years. He did more for the alphabet community than he did for black folks. That's the honest to God truth. I love him. It was good. It was good television. It was symbolic. Michael from Good Times said, "Will there ever be a black president?" Well, we got one, and he didn't do nothing. So I'm gonna leave you with this, Los. Is having a black one more thing, I let it go. Is having a black president who won't do nothing for black folks any different from having a white president who's like, I ain't doing nothing for you? Go ahead.
Look, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? Because see, to me, no, I agree with you, and I'm sorry, President Barack Obama. I didn't think I was gonna ever say this online, right? I didn't never think I was gonna be able to say this online. But the fact is, President Barack Obama did not do nothing for black people. However, look. However, the president that we have 40. What was Donald Trump? 45.
45.
45. So I'm just saying the president that we have, 45 and trying to get another election, he different level. If nothing else, we talking about history. My man went Shorty trying to be a thug. Tupac said this. Hey, Tupac was a prophet. He said Shorty trying to be a thug. Buddy went from look. He went from trying to be a president to, a convicted felon. He like 33 counts. Then he go to I got shot. Who shot you? And then he said, November, come run for me, because I'm gonna make America great again. Have we ever really thought about what the era he was talking about with make America great again? And that's the only thing. This is the last thing I'm gonna say, Lim, and I'm gonna pass over to Bishop, right? Because see, Bishop, he into the politics. I ain't, right? But I'm gonna hit you with this one. Right? Have you ever thought about this, Lim? Just hit me out clearly. Have you ever thought about this? President Trump, right, when he said make America great again, he was talking about slavery days, right, when black people didn't have the rights. And you would hear him say it clearly, let's bring back the black jobs. Because what he's talking about is General Motors, Ford. He's talking about being able to get back to when it was good. These black guys was doing, working at the car dealerships or the warehouses.
No, I don't think those are black jobs you're talking about.
What you think he was talking about?
not any good job.
Oh, so I thought he was talking about. I thought he was talking about warehouse and regular jobs, but it's not what we have, right? But look, just the point. The point is he don't think it's the even playing field. And if you go do some research, they said Donald Trump's father was a part of the KKK. So all I want you to understand is everything is more than what meets the eye, right? And Big Mama say, the apple don't fall too far from the tree, man. This is what Big Mama say. So what I'm saying is, if his dad was a part of the KKK, this is what he feels. This is what the man might be. Now, granted, I could say, see me, I got a heart. God bless me with a heart where I can see the good in Trump. I can see, I'm for real. Bishop get mad at me and I'm about to pass it right quick. But I can. I can see the fact that he's trying to eliminate the transgender. He's trying to get us back to where it's normal and we can practice Christian laws. He's trying to get the rich people to continue to thrive, to own your own business. I can look at it from the good point of it, right? But then at the end of the day, I understand the idea of the opposite side too. This is why I'm about to pass it to Bishop and let him take it from here. I'm out.
I don't know why they passed it to me. I'm not a big political person, but I do follow it a little bit. Donald Trump, if you want a good black job, if you can relate to him because of all the convictions and felonies he got, if you relate to him because you like his tennis shoes, then I say go ahead and vote for him. Otherwise, if you want to listen to his friends, his business partners, that all say he's a scamster, all the contractors that have worked for him that he didn't want to pay, all the people, all the banks that he borrowed money from that he didn't pay back, and he's a so-called billionaire. He still haven't proven that. If my father was a billionaire, I think I'd probably be a billionaire too. He's not a self-made billionaire. He keeps on going back to the fact that he started off as a small businessman, and his father back in the I think the 60s gave him a small starter loan of $1 million to start his business. I wish I had a dad who could give me a small business loan of $1 million. And this is $1 million in the 60s. We all know what $1 million in the 60s is not now. So if my father could give me a small business loan to start a business in the 60s of $1 million, then I think I'll be plus when his father died, he pretty much got $1 billion too. If you looked it up, All the money that he got from his father, they said even if he didn't run his business and use that money for his business, if he just put the money in the stock market, he would be way richer than he is right now. So he
Mhm.
hasn't even managed the money that his father passed on to him um, correctly. So if you think this is the guy who can lead us, and if you forgot about, if you never watched the news when he was president for 4 years, um, they were talking about how great things were when he was a president. I think they forgot we were going through COVID when he was a president. I don't know how they could say we were locked in the house when he was president and couldn't get out, and everything was locked up. But for some reason, those were the glory days. I don't remember COVID being the glory days. I know I lost my father to COVID. I lost my best friend to COVID. So I put those deaths on Trump for not. They say he locked it up, but I think he could even locked it up more because I would have my father and my best friend right now. So if you think those are the glory days, where we had COVID and we locked down, I don't know. I don't know why they don't put in the news more. All of this, what do you call it when prices go up? Inflation that we're going through right now. I don't know why they don't put it in the news. They blame Biden for the inflation. I have yet to see why they don't blame Trump for the inflation. Because if you look at the inflation chart, inflation was going up before Trump even got out the office. If you know anything about economics, the economic policies and stuff that he passed, keeping interest rates down at 2%, that's the main reason why we had inflation. You can't keep interest rates down to 2% and not think you're going to get. Ask any economist if you can keep interest rates down at 2% and not have inflation. That's the whole thing about them raising and lowering um, interest rates so not to go into inflation. So I know right now the mortgage rate is 7.5, and everybody's going crazy. Oh, the interest rate is 7.5. I know I bought my house when I was 25 years old back in 1995. Guess what? How much the interest rate was when I bought my house, and I thought I would never get a interest rate lower than that. I'm like, God dang, this is the lowest interest rate I'll ever probably ever have. That interest rate was 7.5% back in 1995. So all these people talking about, oh God, interest rates so high in 1995. It's really interest rates should be around in a good economy should be around 7.75. Us being down to 2%, 4% is crazy. That's you only have those low interest rates in a poor economy. That's the only reason the interest rate will be that low in order to boost the economy up. You
Just
can't keep the interest rate that low. If you know anything about economics, but most Americans don't, you know, interest rates can't be low like that and that's what caused all of this inflation that we're going through now. Biden has got inflation down. I don't know why the news media doesn't say anything about it. I think it's because they think Americans are too dumb to understand it. But if you don't believe me, just Google a couple of things I said. It's easy to Google. Let Google be the guide. Don't believe me. Uh, don't believe Fox News, definitely, but let Google be your guide and go ahead and do that. You want to talk some more on that? Or we want
No,
to
no,
change
no,
the
no.
subject?
Yeah, we're gonna change it. So he said, "Let Google be your guide." Right? Let Google be your guide. Based on what he said. Lim, do you have anything else before I switch gears?
no, I'm ready. I agree. Well, I just want to add that, and then just quickly, Trump's dad was a very successful New York real estate developer. So he wasn't a self-made man. He had a lot of help. His father sent him to the best schools, Wharton School of Business, in Pennsylvania, which was one of the best schools in the country. And allegedly, Trump's auntie, or I think aunt said, niece or aunt said something to the effect that someone took his SATs for him. The guy's been and and Bishop brought up a very good point. The banks have a very different relationship with Trump. He has been like the Donald Sterling of lending. He walks out on loans. He owes people a lot of money. He bragged about paying $700 in taxes. So this is a guy that's not very forthright when it comes to his business dealings. So, and you know what's funny, and I'll say and leave it like this. the people who are his most staunch supporters are the poorest white folks in the country, which is very interesting. They relate to a man who's quote unquote a billionaire, and you live in a trailer park, sir, ma'am. So that's very interesting. But anyway, we can change the subject.
So what about like Amber Rose and them? But anyways, no, right. I ain't gonna go that far. Okay, I'm sorry. Forgive me. So let me switch gears. Let me roll the dice, right? So it was this bill that was passed in your hometown in California by Governor Newsom, and he signed the first in the nation law Monday, which banned districts from requiring school staff to disclose a student's gender identity or sexual orientation to any other person without the child's permission, with some exception. And so let's switch gears. Forget about Trump. It is what it is. Like whether you vote for Trump or not, that's your business, right? I ain't mad. I ain't here to influence you one way or another. I just know cap when I see it. And grandma say, if you see the truth, tell the truth, right? So I'm just telling the truth, shaming the devil with that one, with Trump. But I'm gonna let Rome come on in here to talk about this government nuisance bill. And I dare you to say something, King Lemuel, about this bill that was just passed on Monday. I dare you to say something.
Oh man, what up, good people? Man, we living in a time and day where the Bible is real. It tell you about what to look out for the beginning of the last days. And people, will be lovers of themselves. They'll be more boastful. They'll be more prideful. We're starting to see those things come into fruition. And so for me, we can't knock that the Bible is real. That prophecy is real. Those things are starting to come right before our eyes. So it's like if you're walking to somebody's house, what's the first thing you see? It's either the pathway or the stairs to the house. We're right there. And so I want you guys to start paying attention to how deceptive the enemy can be. And we know who the enemy is without getting too deep. But I'll say this, and when it comes to that law that was just passed, for those of us that have kids, if there's anything going on with your child at a school, you want to know about it. If your child is being bullied, you want to know about it. If your child is having, stomach pains, leg pains, headache, you want to know about it. So why is it that you'll call me if they fall and hit their head? You'll call me for all of these things, but yet if they're having some type of gender identity crisis, you won't call me in that moment. I feel like that's wrong for the state to pass a law to that degree, because suicide is a real pivotal thing. Kids go through so much, and let's just say this was going on for 2 years, and this thing going on for 2 years, and you choose to not tell the parents what your child was experiencing in those previous 2 years. What do you think the parents is going to do when they get the news that their child is no longer here? And this so-called licensed therapist knew that the child was going through those things. Those parents are going to come up there and they're not going to be praying with you. I can promise you that. They're not going to be there to just talk with you. I can promise you that. So my thing is, we got to be realistic here, people. When you say, you're going to have something like that, when you see the first signs, it's like, I look at it like with the fire department. Do you call the fire department when your house burns down? Or do you call the fire department when you see the smoke in your house? When it first starts, you call at the very beginning. You don't call 911 when the house is burned down. That's idiotic on your part. So my thing is to the governor there in California, we're working backwards, sir. In this particular case, we're working backwards. Always keep the parents involved in what's going on with their child, because you never know how that thing can turn around. A lot of people think a turnaround is a 360. A 360 is getting back into the same place you were at. A 180 is where you want to be. You want to do a 180 and turn around from where you started at over here. And the only way you're going to get there is talking to the parents, because the parents will be able to come in and intervene and get the proper help needed along the way. So my thing is, people, don't be deceived. Don't get lost in the sauce, as they call it, and fall for all of these different things. Be who you are, but at the end of the day, we can't be that liberal to the point to where we start getting foolish. And that's my point. I'll let your boy Lim come in, because I can see it on his mind. It's right on his forehead. It's like the store sign that says open. Go ahead, brother.
So, Obama has something to do with this, and I won't go there. I'm gonna stay here. So, I think what's happening with this alphabet community, and I think they realize something. They can't have us, meaning anybody that was born probably prior to 70, 80s and is adult, a parent. So they're going after our kids, and this is a way for them to get a hold of the children's minds with their gender identity before they're even able to formulate what they're really feeling. So for instance, if a child has an affinity for playing with dolls, and you try to connect as a school psychologist that, oh, that must mean that that child must be struggling with their gender identity. That's not always the case. And a lot of times kids are confused because they're seeing so many different types of behaviors at school, and they need to be able to talk to and have an open dialogue with the people who, quote unquote, love them the most, which is their parents. See, the schools are not going to take responsibility for the fallout and the aftermath of you confusing these kids with gender identity. They're not going to take responsibility for that matter if they have issues with the law. So you want to strip the parents of the only people who are trying to be in preventive mode to make sure their children are safe, to make sure their children understand exactly who they are, to make sure that children understand what their core values are. The only way to do that, you have to keep it at home. And so, I'll say this: this agenda with Gavin Newsom didn't start with him. This has been Obama helped to usher in a movement that has given a lot of latitude to the alphabet community. And with that latitude, in order for them to really take a stronghold on America specifically, they need to go after the kids, the younger generation. So they know, again, to go forward, to get stronger. Because that's what this really is about. It's about more people wanting to live a lifestyle that they want to live, and it being more socially acceptable. And you can't get people who are adults. You want to start to target the children to implement this on a wide basis. So I think that's really what this is about. And you'll start to see these little strategies. This is just one part of this is just a phase of this. It's going to be several phases of that and moving forward. But it's actually deplorable and diabolical to think that you want to remove the parents from an open dialogue with their kids. It's ridiculous. That's what I have to say.
Mm. Well, I think my man Bishop got something to say here, so I'm gonna go ahead and let him have the floor.
I mean, this is just one goes to show one of the things where Democrats are shooting themselves in the foot. Conservative media, Fox News, loves this kind of stuff when we do this kind of stuff. I can't see. I'm a Democrat. I'm definitely not for anything like this, but I'm not seeing even some of y'all weed smoking people out there in California. I don't even think you guys are really for something like this. So I can't see where most of the constituents out in California would vote for something like this. So I don't know why they pass stuff like this. They eat this stuff up. I'm sure it's been playing on Fox News all day long. It just helps to get more votes for conservatives, because they look what the crazy Democrats are doing. I don't know why they do stuff like this. I just have no idea. It doesn't even make sense to me, or I'm sure most people. So I don't know what to say. What you got to say?
No,
Hello?
that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. No, that's it. Yeah, we went like at the end of the day, the premise is I want y'all to understand that what we're going in life, man, right? This is not a coincidence. We started with Trump, and we're not gonna end with Trump, right? Not to get real spiritual on you, Lim. Check me out. Not to get real spiritual on you, but there's a scripture in the Bible. Rome, look it up. Okay. It's a scripture in the Bible to say, I got the king's heart in my hand. I can turn it whichever way I want to turn it. And so what this means is inevitably God is in control. And I know Big Mama been saying that forever. No, listen. Big Mama been saying that forever, but do we really believe that God is in control? Because if he really is in control, that means what scripture? Proverbs 21 and 1. Right? So that's the scripture. I want you to write it down, mark it down. But the thing is, it's so, and I get mad at my brother. My brother Aaron, he teaches Sunday school every Sunday. He's really good. He's phenomenal at scripture, right? But I get mad at him and my father because when you throw out scriptures in a case of this, that's not really helping if you're not susceptible to scriptures. If your thing ain't scriptures and somebody throwing out to you scripture, you looking at them like, well, what is this? That's kind of like me throwing you an EBT card and you used to playing with your debit card. Like you kind of looking at it like, well, what is this and how does it work? Right? So if I'm throwing out to you scriptures based on I got the king's heart in my, well, like what does that even mean? Like with Trump, with the election being in November and my life being at stake, and you talking about a possible civil war, Lim, how do I protect myself for what's to come? And this is what I want to talk to Lim about. It's more so about, and I'm saying Lim because the whole other team with me, right? And Sugar in the background, and he can't talk, right? So I'm asking Lim, like, how do I get prepared for the world? If we saying Trump is threatening the world and say, vote for me or y'all gonna go with Sleepy Joe and the world going to hell. I'm asking you, Lim, like, how do we prevent this? If Big Mama, because all the people we know in church, all they saying is, oh, baby, God is in control. Just your vote, your black vote is gonna count. Go out and vote. We want to refrain from Project 25 and everything Trump trying to do. But all I'm asking you, Lim, can you talk to the audience more about the difference of Big Mama saying pray and God will work it out and have faith, opposed to reality of what is happening right now with Trump, and how can we bring the spiritual portion to reality?
Very simple. So we survived the Ronald Reagan years. We survived 2 Bushes. And there are Republicans that said the second Bush was probably the worst president of all time during the financial crisis, if anybody remember him. So I look at it from this standpoint, Los. We have had all sorts of different presidents, world events that have happened. Our grandparents, great-grandparents that survived the Depression. We survived 9/11. All these different things that have happened, Vietnam War, the financial crisis that we just talked about. We survived that. We survived. So all throughout, God has protected us. And here's what this is really about. This is about testing a test to your faith walk. Do you believe that any one man can change your outlook on God having you and taking care of you? Any one man, human being, that can turn your faith upside down to where you stop going to church, where you stop believing, where you go in panic mode, 911, I can't take it, lose your mind. Well, then that's what the question is. How deep is your faith? Do you really believe? And if you do believe, like Big Mama and them say, you're going to be on your knees, but you also going to be like Romans 8:28. all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. What shall we say, Romans 8:31, to these things? If God be for us, who can? Who can be
Hold on,
against us?
hold on.
Right
Big
there.
Mama they got them quoting scriptures.
Come
Hold on,
on
hold
now.
on. Big Mama got them quoting scriptures. I love it. Go ahead. Go ahead, Lim. Keep going.
So
You
if you know the word, you understand we're in the last time. The Bible talked about it. Think it not strange. It's going to get worse, but you got to have an anchor. You got to have something that you can hold on to when times get thin, when people start panicking, when everybody running and I don't know what to do. You got an anchor. I remember my big mom used to go in her closet with her Bible and blessed oil, that olive oil, and she prayed. She prayed all night. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still living on her prayers. I'm still living on the prayers of Big Mama. So I believe He's gonna take care of all of us. I don't have no fear. This is the reason why I don't get involved in the political game, because I know more than anything else, it's human beings fighting for one thing: power and greed and control. And I
Mm.
don't serve any of that. I don't serve the human beings. They don't have my life in their hands. I don't know why people think that they have their life in their hands. Donald Trump ain't gonna do anything different for me or make my life any worse or better. God got me, and that's what I believe. That's what I'm rocking with.
So with all due fairness, we got about 10 more minutes left. And I'm willing to challenge you with this, right? To shape the vote.
Come on.
Right? No, because my big mama said the same thing. However, right? What I'm just trying to ask you is, in these last evil days, right? There is a lot of panic. There is a lot of uncertainty, right? And sometimes God can, be absent in what you're praying for or what you're hoping and believing for, right? So when this is happening, especially in a critical time like this, because right now faith has to be exercised. It's not just what meets the eye. Faith is a little bit more than what meets the eye, right? So if I'm not getting this job, right, and we listen to the Honorable Dr. Umar Johnson, just saying, no, listen, just saying that the white man taking the job, and we got to be able to do better as far as coercing to get together. What is your perception about how do we better ourselves and live according to our purpose? If in fact you saying, because you make it seem like it's so easy, believe in God and that's it. And I think it's a little bit deeper than that. And then you know me, I'm gonna let my man Bishop in, but I'm just asking you, what do you think about beyond the faith?
Well, I can only go from I can only speak for myself, Los. I know where God delivered me from. Man, I done seen a lot in my lifetime, and He kept me through a lot in prison, come home, all of that. I didn't have no job, didn't know what I was gonna be able to do. He got me into real estate at the worst time in my life. I thought I was done. Right? You have a felony, you got a couple of felonies. I didn't think there was no hope. I met you during that, shortly after that, later down the line. So as long as God continues to put people in my life that continue to help elevate me, I know He's watching me. You have to know that He's watching your life. He is the author and finisher of our faith. So if you believe that, and you can see the evidence of your faith, which I know I have seen mine, I know that no matter what happens, financial, relationship, presidential, whatever, it don't matter. He gonna take care of it to the end. So I believe His promises are yea and amen.
So
That's what
so
the word says.
no, and you're right. Those are all the interview questions and answers that sound amazing. However, what if it's not working in my life? And I'm playing devil advocate. Please
Okay.
understand.
All right.
I
All right.
believe everything you're saying. I agree with you, me personally. But I'm asking you, the live cut off right on Instagram, but I'm asking you, what if it's somebody that don't believe everything you
Oh,
said?
I
I was
see
in
what you.
prison just like you. It ain't working in my case or in my favor just like you. How can I believe more? How can I understand who God is in my personal life? Like, what would be your suggestion to somebody that's conflicted or confused?
Well, look at your life. Look where you come from. So even if you don't believe in God, you're still here. The question then is, why are you still here? If you've
Mm,
been through hell, if you've been through the craziest shit that you could only imagine, you still here? There must be a
mm,
reason. Now your job is to find out why you still here.
perfect.
You got to
Per-
find out why whatever that didn't kill you, didn't take you out. Your job for the rest of your life until you're no longer breathing is to find out why you still here. Now, job ain't gonna do that for you most of the time, and politics sure ain't gonna do that for you. So then it's incumbent upon each man and woman to find out. I've been through the worst circumstances in life, but I'm still here. You must be a fighter. So how can you leverage that to find your place, your sense of peace, to accept the things that happen to you and be able to take that and turn it into something good? I'll leave you with this. The most important thing you can do in this world, more than making money, more than all of that, is to find out how you can help somebody else, whatever that may be. Find out what your talents and your gifts are. Leverage those talents and gifts to speak into or help someone else. And usually what I find out is when you start to serve, then some of the things that have been blocking your blessings start to open up. But you have to give to get. It is not the other way around. It's not a get to give. You have to give something to somebody else without looking at anything in return. And then things start to, this is just how it works, sowing and reaping. Things start to open up for you, or cause and effect in the scientific form. It's cause and effect. You open this up, things start to open up for you. And there's no Bible to that. So that's just how things work.
you know what, Lim? I really, really appreciate it. I'm gonna let the guys have ending words. I'm gonna say man first, right? So what I agree with you wholeheartedly, right? I really, really believe that it's all about who you serve, and I believe the world is gonna come to a situation. You know what? It's so funny. I remember being 9 to 11 years old in my church in Chicago, and this crazy lady, which I thought she was, she used to get up every Sunday and she was like, man, I wish this church would catch on fire and burn up with the Holy Ghost, right? And I used to look at her and we used to laugh, we used to joke, right? But she used to say this every Sunday, right? But the premise of what she was saying is eventually the world is going to come to an end, whether you believe it or not, right? Just up to your belief. But whether you believe it or not, this world is going to come to an end. And at the end of the day, it's about what and who you believe, right? Right. So that's all up to you. But the premise I'm just trying to get you to understand is you got to get closer to who you believe, what you believe, and understand where this world is going, right? And then you got to be able to understand what we really, really believe. Because even what you said, whose truth do you believe? Right, right. Whose truth will you believe? And so this is where it really, really boils down to when it comes down to what's happening in the world. All of these things I really spoke about. So when it comes to Donald Trump taking over or whatever, these are things that's supposed to happen, and you're supposed to be able to do what you're supposed to do. And so those are my closing remarks. I'm gonna let Rome come on in. Or Bishop. Let Bishop go first. Now let Rome close us in. If you have any closing remarks, Bishop.
Uh, yeah, I don't really have any closing remarks. Y'all quoting Bibles and quoting from the Bible and talking about Trump in the same term. We about to burn up in here because he can't quote nothing. I don't even know if he knows Jesus well. So uh, that's my closing remarks. All these Bible people voting for Trump is crazy, but that's my closing remarks.
Go ahead, Rome.
This boy Bishop, hell on wheels, man. But at the end of the day, just to backtrack, we touched on the politics. The election's coming up in November, people. At the end of the day, fact check. Look at the Republican candidate. Look at all your facts. Look at your Democrat. Look at all the facts. And let's not forget the independent. Look at the facts. and go from there and make sure you do your voting because that's pivotal. When it comes down to the whole gender identity and the things that we're dealing with there, with that being the first state, I think that a lot of people who are believers and even non-believers, you need to look at 2 Timothy chapter 3. Read that and realize that's the time that we're in. We're in a time where people are boastful, people are lovers of themselves, and everybody's coming up with their own agenda. Whether it's right or whether it's wrong, they're coming up with their own agenda. And so at the end of the day, we can't believe that everybody's A is A and their B is B. You have to fact check, and that's just the bottom line. Whether you consider yourself a believer or a non-believer, at the end of the day, I always tell everybody, non-believers, what's today's date? The fact that you say today's date is July 17th, how do you believe that it's July 17th and you tell me that there's no Jesus? So at the end of the day, you don't have to believe in what I believe in, but at the end of the day, we all gonna have to answer to somebody or some spirit, and you got to be prepared for that moment. I hate to be so deep for y'all, but at the end of the day, I gotta be real and I gotta be blunt. The time is coming, and he said we won't know the day nor the hour. It's like a thief in the night. If you knew somebody was gonna steal your car, you would have been outside. But at the end of the day, we gotta be prepared, folks. It's time for us to wake up and realize that the Lord we serve, the men that I'm with, and the young man you see on the screen right here, he says the government is on his shoulders. So I'm gonna let y'all have y'all President Trump and your sleepy Joe when I'm gonna focus on the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Y'all can have all of that. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't break me. What's real big to me is the governor of your state, because they're the one that set and mandate your laws, as we just were talking about with the California thing there. So while y'all focus on the president election, I'm focused on who your government, the governor is of your state, your city councilmen, and things of that nature. Your sheriffs, that is pivotal for you. So that's my end in there. I hope you all have a blessed night. Be safe, and don't drink and drive, as they say.
He say, as they say. Hey, Lim, I really appreciate everybody that's joining us tonight. I just want to be able to end by understanding and let y'all know that at the end of the day, I want y'all to be able to understand where we are. This is all spoke about, right? Right, Lim? This is all talked about. This is why we talked about Big Mama all the time. A lot of the stuff is already talked about. And I want y'all just to be secure in who you are, right? Who you are and actually where you go. And a lot of times, in order to know where you're going, you got to be able to look back to understand where you came from. That's why we bring up Big Mama a lot of times. And I know a lot of women get mad talking about they want the traditional women and Big Mama. I'm just saying, listen, scratch all that. I want you to be able to understand Big Mama is what got us here. We stand on her shoulders. A lot of our ancestors, we standing on their shoulders. So what would they say when Trump talking this crazy stuff? Or when Biden doing this crazy stuff? Like, what would they say if they was in the position? That's why I don't want y'all to say, no, I ain't voting because it don't matter. What would they say? Our ancestors fought for this. So I want y'all to go back to history and continue to move the ball along, because we're going somewhere. I can't tell you where right now because I don't know. Right? God knows. But I want you to continue to move the ball forward. And I really appreciate y'all. And I guarantee y'all next week we're going to get back to the relationship stuff or whatever y'all want to talk about, because we got a plethora of different subjects and stories we're going to talk about. And that boy Lim, I see you out there in the sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine. I'm at ATL. Yes. And so I appreciate y'all. And I'll talk to y'all next week. Love you.